Now, after a while, the particles of the sand are settling down at the bottom of the cup because they are so big, so we cannot dissolve them between the particles of the water. So this is called a suspension solution. Okay, so this is the shape of the cup after a while. This is the suspension solution. By the way, we cannot see clearly through it. If I want to look through this cup, I cannot see clearly through it. It looks like an opaque solution in physics. So, or an opaque object in physics. So this is the meaning of a suspension solution. We have many examples, like a mixture of a chalk and water, or a mixture of a flour and water, or a mixture of dust particles in air, or even dust particles in water. By the way, this is dust particles. These are the brown particles here are the dust particles that are found between the sand particles. So the mixture of dust or chalk or flour particles between the water particles are an example of a suspension solution. Also, fog is an example of a suspension solution. Fog, I mean the tiny water droplets that are suspended in the air, here like a cloud, a low cloud. This is also an example of a suspension solution. What are the factors that speed up the process of dissolving? First of all, stirring. As you saw before in the first experiment or in the second experiment, I have to stir to speed up the process of dissolving the sugar between the particles of the water, or to speed up the process of dissolving the red dye between the particles of between the particles of water. So, stirring or shaking the solvent, shaking or stirring is one of the factors that speed up the process of dissolving the particles of solute between the particles of the solvent. Also, the temperature, heating up the solvent. Heating up the solvent will let the particles to gain more kinetic energy. Gaining more kinetic energy means the particles start using this part of kinetic, or this part of thermal energy, to be transferred to be kinetic. So again, if I want to rearrange the idea, adding thermal energy will let the particle to gain this thermal energy and use it, change it to be a kinetic energy to let them to move faster. So they will dissolve themselves between the particles of the solvent in a shorter time. The last one is grinding or crushing or smashing the solute into smaller pieces.